Hello one and all, and welcome back to another RWBY discussion. I am your only mate, and with me as always is
Max a few trades, and I am Foisty. How are you doing today?
I is doing okay. I've been at work like 4 days back to back again.
That is absolutely horrible.
No, and my shifts are 10 hours.
That is horrible. Is that even legal? Probably not.
I mean, it's a thing, so apparently yes.
Damn shame that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Although,
we're here to get into some escapism.
yeah,
With RWBY, where I'm sure nothing depressing is happening.
nah, not at all, not at all.
Yeah, clearly not. All right, well, it's Volume 8, Episode 11. It's Risk. We ain't talking about the board game here, all right? In fact, the description even says tensions rise in Schnee Manor as our reunited heroes find themselves backed into a corner. And this is, in fact, the truth.
Yeah. Well, then again, whether they not backed into a corner these days?
They have been backed into a corner since Volume 4.
Yeah, just like
Once everything fell apart at the end of Volume 3, I feel like none of the heroes have even slightly gotten away from that corner since then. There's been a few inches here and there, but they get pushed back.
all they know is the corner.
All they know is the corner, and this corner is all that they have ever known. One day they're going to break free from it, and they will miss the corner, and it will be sad.
Yeah, but it will be
Like,
the ending,
man.
and they'll be happy.
That's the hope and the plan and the hope and the desire, let me tell you.
They'll get their happily ever afters, because, you know, it's fairy tale inspired stuff.
Exactly. Anybody who lives gets a happily ever after.
Yeah.
Alright, so before we dive headfirst into this, anything you wanted to say beforehand?
Nothing that's too related.
Alright, then I just want to point this out right out the gate, because when the first thing you see when this episode starts is flying gorillas! And I forgot that that's how that began. I keep forgetting that the gorillas have wings now.
They got wings now.
They got wings now. See, you're starting to understand. You get it. Yeah, everything's
Dude.
got wings, and everybody is hanging out in that subway.
Dude, I remember just, like, your reaction when I told you... Okay. Spoiler alert for Attack on Titan Season 4! When I mentioned that there is a flying titan in, like, the final battle of the manga, you were just like, oh, great, they got wings now.
They got wings now.
It extends to other
that's the
shows. God damn it.
It does. Like, just straight up to any and all aspiring writers. If you ever want your dominant, opposing antagonistic force to instantly become significantly scarier, more menacing, and threatening, all you have to do is give them wings. And once they got wings now, everybody's screwed. Like, see, here's the thing. Oh no, a tiger is after you. That's pretty bad. Now the tiger's got wings. Now you're gonna die. How do you get away from that? You don't.
Oh, what?
Same principle with Grimm.
Oh, what? You end up on top of a cliff, and the tiger's like down there, can't get you. Well, it's got wings now. It can fly.
Like, I'm just throwing this out here. If at any point we start seeing those Grimm mammoth fly,
God.
I'm just saying.
Oh, Jesus! That's
What's stopping Salem? If she can give gorillas wings, she can give mammoth wings, and then
No.
they're flying bullets.
yeah. Like she could just give them wings. They fly up, and then they stop flying and just dive bomb into like battlefields or cities.
Yeah, straight up. Like what can you even do about that? There are options, people. Anyway, so yeah. Going back to the fact that the huddled masses of everybody, we even see Hans the Mole Man. He's just chilling down there.
I'd actually like to point out he's holding hands with the racist grandma.
Yes.
So
yes, he is.
Yeah. So there we go. That's some character development for her.
That's some interesting off-screen background character development you wouldn't anticipate.
Yeah, and there's also like
shout out to the
mothers
to the two hugging for support.
Yeah, those are the mothers of those kids.
Oh, well, there you go. Oh, you're right, they are. Dang, man. There's a level of attention to detail to the background characters that I didn't even realize. I didn't see any of this the first time I watched.
And you know what? Those kids were like the first ones to like really like I guess, bond. Like, they just walked out, was just like, hey, what's up? And go friendly,
Yeah.
so...
It's all coming together.
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, it's nice. I mean, they're in a terrible situation, but it's nice. It's nice. It's such a terrible thing that the sheep girl is crying.
Yeah.
And then hugs. At least there are hugs.
And we know that May is okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Last we heard, she just said, "Oh my God, like get into the caves," and then the signal cut off. She is okay. She is alive. She's not even injured. But yeah.
The happy huntresses are okay. For now, at least.
Yeah. So far, for now, we don't know what the future holds. I got my fingers crossed for them. I like them. I don't want any of them dying.
Yeah, same.
All right then. So, are you ready for the first scene of? My God, Alfred Hitchcock, I think, once said that like the epitome or something to the effect of suspense is when there's a bomb underneath the table of a diner and you don't know when it's gonna go off. I feel like that all the time when Ironwood is on screen around anybody.
Nowadays, yeah.
Like, once he shot Councilman Chad in the face, like, at that point you realize, oh, at any conceivable moment, he will kill somebody just because he can.
I do like that we're always calling back to that. just to remind you how nuts Ironwood is. He shot Councilman Chad. Enough said.
We need to remind people of this, because I guarantee everybody else in the face of the fandom have forgotten him, but we never will.
I just want to throw this out there. If any other big RWBY tubers like start calling him Councilman Chad, we did it first.
We did it first, okay? Look, and that's the thing. Every character deserves something. And you know what? Councilman Chad, he had his rough spots, but he was a person who wanted to do what was right for everybody, and he died for it. He deserves respect.
And then
shout out to those soldiers who are absolutely terrified of Ironwood. Yeesh.
And then we overhear the Aesops just talking about, like, he's not actually going to do it, is he?
Yeah, no, that was something I saw a lot of people talking about. So, like, everyone's like, all right, so what do all y'all consider the possibility of this being a bluff are? And it seems like even the Aesops are like, it was a bluff, right? He's not actually going to blow the whole thing up, is he?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
And Vine's even just like, hey, it might actually get the kids to see reason and come out of hiding. And Harriet's just like,
yeah, really.
It's like,
really,
wow,
really not the time for that. Okay, so like, we've kind of got this step-by-step scope for the Aesops from most willing to not be evil to most okay with being evil.
Yeah, and I just realized, like, they're on the same side of the screen when they line up.
You are correct. There's even an opening. A rift, you might say.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh. I see you, Kirby.
Maybe. I don't know. This could be completely coincidental and Elm won't turn good. But if any of those three are going to become good, aside from Marrow, then it would be Elm, I feel.
Yeah, it's definitely Elm.
Like, Harriet, definitely full on board. Nah, I'm cool with just not being a good person.
And apparently
that's
so
unfortunate.
is Vine.
More than you'd think. It's Vine's kind of creepy in that aspect. He has this weird, tranquil air to everything he's saying, like, so matter-of-factly. That's like, dude, do you not hear yourself and how bad that sounds?
Yeah, and there's even, like, calling back to the Councilman Chad thing, when he was shot, I zoomed in on all the Aesops. Vine showed no reaction.
Like, there's a time eventually when having nerves of steel and, you know, mental fortitude and all that jargon eventually stops being impressive and starts being creepy.
Yeah.
Once you you need to react to things at least a little, like the tiniest, bittiest bit of a flinch would have been enough. There was none. At least Harriet's very, you know, like, gung-ho all in on this, so you know where she stands, and you can just be all like, yeah, to hell with Harriet and her weird-ass hair, you know? With Vine, you're just like, he just unnerves me. And his freaky, stretchy arms. I don't like it. No, no, sir, don't like him. But, yeah, so Ironwood comes in, and he's all like, rest assured, I very much do plan on horribly murdering everybody, and that's just the way things are. And Winter's like, we for real right now? He's like, oh, yes, we are most certainly for real right now.
Did you not hear my broadcast?
Did you not hear the broadcast? I said I was going to murder everyone, and I'm going to do it. Like, shout out to the rest of the characters in the room, like, yeah, we heard. We were just really hoping we misheard.
Yeah, and
Winter says nothing, but she's definitely thinking things. You can see it in the eyes.
Yeah, and then Marrow's just like
hang on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to their credit, with the exception of possibly Vine, it's hard to tell with him. All of the Aesops at this exact moment are like, so at the bare minimum, I gotta give him that. But yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and as Iron was saying that he's gonna save Atlas, shout out to Marrow. It's just like, you call this saving Atlas, just doing Salem's job for her. And man, he's just digging into it, like how he thought like joining the Aesops would, make things better, but all the stuff he's seeing, it's just like, god damn, dude.
And of course, Harriet is also like pushing, Marrow's buttons. Vine comes in. Elm is just conflicted, but Marrow has reached his breaking point. He is not having any of this anymore. And I gotta say, shout out to the dog Faunus for saying that he thought being an Aesop was a badge of honor, but it's actually a collar.
Yeah, like, you know what? That's a clever way to work that in there.
Yeah, it is. And
like,
so
just from a writing
basically,
aspect.
Yeah, so basically, Marrow puts in his 3 days notice, and Ironwood is going to give the severance package, which is murder.
Man, you can see like, the detail in Marrow's face. Like, he hears the gun cocks. Like, he knows what's about to happen.
Yes, it's immediate. It's like, oh god, yeah, I'm going to die. But and although it's funny, you say that he knows what's about to happen, and then he gets decked upside the face by Winter.
Yeah. By the way, I'm looking at the captions. It just says in brackets, punching.
So, yeah, there you go. And so Winter is like, hey, okay, so here's the deal. I'm tying up this here traitor, and I'm gonna throw him in the brig, and that's a good thing for me to go do. So I'm gonna leave you to do what you're doing, and I'm gonna go off and do my thing, and yeah. And she takes Marrow off, and we were talking about this a little beforehand. We are both fully in agreement. We both trust Winter enough right now to believe that she is doing this purely just to save Marrow.
Yeah.
Like, she could have just let him got shot. She didn't. She basically, like, she took over. It's like, I'll take care of him. I'll take care of this. You don't got to do anything, and all that stuff. So she even jumps in front of basically the line of sight of the bullets.
Yeah,
so
like
that she could have gotten shot.
Yeah. So
we're
mad props to Winter.
Yeah, no, Winter is a badass, and she is great, and she definitely just saved it. And yeah, this is part of what makes you think that Elm is definitely going to be somebody who might want to turn against this whole thing, because Harriet and Vine are like, all right, well, back in line, and Elm is like, okay, I guess, but I am not okay with any of this. Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, Harriet and Vine are looking like super serious. Elm is just like looking down and is like sad. So yeah.
So here's like, hoping. Here's hoping. Like, if I'm not feeling super great about Harriet and Vine in general.
I don't think anyone is now.
But
I see a lot of people saying like, Harriet, I hate you.
Yeah, no, I know. I somebody I talked to about this show also is like, all right, just straight up, I absolutely hate this person now. And I'm like, you know what? I get it. But, like, if either of you want to also change sides, as long as you do it before you murder someone, I think people would be okay with it.
Yeah.
It's not too late, is what I'm saying.
I mean, out of all of them, I see Elm being next, then Harriet, and then maybe Vine, depending on how things go.
Yeah.
Vine, at the very least, seems to be like, alright, this is happening.
Yeah, it's weird. Whereas Harriet just seems to be kind of falling in line and just not questioning orders to a horrendous fault. It actually seems like Vine is agreeing with Ironwood's decisions.
Yeah, which is concerning.
A little. So, I don't know. Anyway, we cut back to the Schnee Manor, and now that I've gotten to say the word Schnee, you may take things from here.
Alright, so everyone's just trying to devise a plan because, look, if we don't give him Penny, he's gonna kill Mantle. But if we give him Penny, he's ditching Mantle to just seclude Atlas. And I'm just gonna throw out there, Salem's... What remains of Salem is still on Atlas.
Yeah.
So at this point, Ironwood's plan is even dumber.
Yeah, no. I don't know how much we've actually talked about this, but I know for a fact that there are a lot of people that don't know what Ironwood's semblance is, and I didn't either.
Oh, yeah.
I had to go to the wiki, and I looked under it, and it explained what it was, and I recently learned that the only reason we know is because it was in a panel at last, the virtual RTX in 2020,
yeah,
where they were asked, like, do Watts and Ironwood have semblances? Long story short, Watts, no. Ironwood, yes.
Well, I should throw out that, yeah, Watts probably has a semblance, but the thing is, he never trained to unlock it, because he can already do so much stuff with his mind and, like, technology and stuff. Like, it's kind of beneath him. Right.
And it was actually kind of funny the way they described it, is, like, we'll get into Ironwood in a second, but it's like, yeah, no, Ironwood's semblance has always been a thing, and it's been affecting the story this entire time. We've just literally never had a good opportunity to organically describe what it was. And just side note, because we need a little bit of levity, this same thing had all four of the RWBY voice actresses. And I think it was Barbara. It's like, or it might have even been Aaron. But in the next is like, she said, like, next volume, everyone's just kind of gonna go up together. It's like, hey, yo, what's your semblance? It's like, we've been around each other for a while. Could you maybe give me your backstory? Because it's like, it's kind of hard to organically slide these things into things. And we actually get a little bit of an attempt at that later. But anyway, Ironwood's semblance is, I think they called it, right, it's called metal, because puns. Basically, it's a passive semblance that you can't turn off, like crows.
Yeah. And clovers.
And clovers and stuff like that. So basically, it gives him the ability to unflinchingly go with his plans and ideas and mindset without any hesitation or backstepping at all.
Yeah, so like once his mind is made up, then that's it.
Yeah. And that's a dangerous semblance for a man clearly teetering on the edge of pure insanity to have.
Yeah.
So basically what it means is when he comes up with a plan, he's going to stick to it, and you can't talk him out of it. Which,
it's also...
yeah, now that you know that, you look back on all those previous scenes with him and him never going back on his ideas and plans, and you go, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense.
It also makes it kind of tragic in a way, like, because, like, it's not like his fault that, like, that's his semblance and that's what's making him, like, do all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, just... When you look at it from that aspect, it's just like... I'm not sure what the right words are, because it's...
Well, yeah, no, I get you, but, like, I feel like it all depends on the person watching, on how sympathetic they can find any given situation.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
But I feel... but what I'm saying is, I could see somebody with this information going, damn, that's a real shame. It sucks that this is how Ironwood became who he is. And that's something I see a lot of people complain about, is like how his his turn to a villain, like, apparently ruined him as a character. But quite frankly, I feel like this has been built up.
Yeah, it has.
Pretty much ever since the character was introduced. Like, he was always this kind of guy, and kind of thinking, mixed with the semblance that he has, was going to lead down this path if things got bad enough. And then things got bad enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so they're trying to come up with a plan. Blake is sitting adorably.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing that out there.
Like, when I was watching, I just couldn't stop, like, looking at Blake as, like, she's sitting that way.
Even more so than usual for him,
Well,
which is
yeah.
impressive.
Like,
you're always looking at Blake when she's on screen, but in this particular instance, you were really looking at her.
yeah. Like, could you imagine if, like, something hilarious is happening in the back? I'm just staring at Blake the whole time. And then people
do
in
it
the
again, I wasn't looking.
And then people in the comments are just like, how did you miss this? And I'm just like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I was looking at Blake the whole time. That side view of her was really appealing.
And then I miss, like, Blake and Yang, Ruby and Yang doing something funny, like, in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, they were doing something funny in the background, but I was busy because Blake's cat ears twitched slightly when she heard something, and I thought that was cute, so I was looking at her.
Yeah.
That's how your brain works.
But she's cute, though.
Respect. Regardless, Ruby sure is having some issues right now.
That's an understatement.
No.
Man, shout out to Ruby for, like, just keeping things together as much as she is. Like, yeah, in this situation, I don't know what I would do.
Right, and, you know, I really just... I have to say this. I'm contractually obligated. But even if I wasn't, I have to. So, Ruby is basically lamenting how a lot of her choices aren't panning out the way she was really hoping they would. And, you know, some characters are being really sympathetic about it and trying to not make her feel like garbage. Emerald, who is also in the room, decides, yeah, no, I mean, your plans really were stupid as hell, and you should feel bad. And for what it's worth, Weiss walks into frame, looks at her, and just says, shut up. And I felt that. When she did that, I felt that. It hit. It's like, goddamn, yes. Yes, thank you.
Not the time, Emerald.
Yeah. And then, you know, Yang threatens to, you know, rip her face off. And for what it's worth, Emerald seems legitimately terrified at the prospect of this.
I mean, yeah, in a one-on-one fight, I don't think she can take Yang.
No, I don't think so. I don't think in a one-on-one fight, Emerald would be very... I mean, especially if you know what her semblance is ahead of time, I feel like that's an ability that's really helpful when you don't know it's a thing.
I think honestly, like, the semblance would be, like, her leg up against most of Team RWBY.
Yeah, but if they can find a way around that, which I could think of a few ways that at least a couple of them.
I know of a way. I know of a way Blake could.
I know of a way Weiss could. Just throwing that out there. But the point is, in a one-on-one confrontation, I feel like Emerald would really be on the back foot and have to rely on her semblance a lot. So yeah, it makes sense that she would be afraid. But at the same time, maybe then don't try to start crap. Maybe don't say this stuff when you know how volatile a Yang is, and yeah, maybe don't badmouth her sister like that in front of her. Maybe
when she's clearly going through some stuff. Although to be fair, we're privy to a lot of it, and you aren't.
I guess you do need to give her that much, because admittedly, yeah, as the scene goes on, well, first of all, Oscar is again just trying to know people. Let's bring it off.
Like, let's not fight amongst ourselves. That'll just make things worse.
We have been doing that for long enough, so let's just not. And but Ruby is just not really being able to be talked to right now. She's pretty broken up about this whole thing. No one really knows what to say to her, and she just kind of vents about how everything is going horribly wrong. We're all back to exactly where we started.
Yeah, she says we're in the same place we were yesterday. And I'm just thinking, yeah, so it's been an entire day since the start of the volume.
basically.
And also, that was the next day after the ending of Volume 7.
Right.
How long have these girls been awake?
At least a couple days.
Yeah. So,
Look,
like,
no, Weiss herself said we're never going to be able to sleep again. So, I don't know, maybe they're able to sneak small naps in between emotional crises, but it's clearly not enough.
yeah, but, like, for all we know, these girls have been up and fighting for, like, 3 days straight.
Minimum. And take it
like-
from somebody who's been sleep deprived a lot. That's not a great place to be, especially when you're in a stressful situation.
So,
yeah, Ruby storms out, and it takes a second, but Yang decides, I'm gonna go after her. And we'll get back to that. But the next scene, it starts sad, but gets less sad as it goes on.
yeah.
So I want you to do it, and I'll chime in.
Alright, so, Jean's finally back with, Nora, and Ren's in there too. So, Jean's using his semblance to try and amp Nora's aura, which, try saying that 10 times fast.
Amp Nora's aura. Oh my god, okay. Amp Nora's aura, amp Nora's aura, amp Nora's order. No, see now Nora's ordering something.
I've created a tongue twister.
You have. Continuing. Go ahead.
Yeah. And, yeah, the scars aren't going away. Which,
Yeah, no, they seem to be permanent now.
yeah, which, on one aspect, yeah, that kind of sucks, but at the same time, man, I want to see Nora use her semblance and those glow, because that would look freaking badass.
I mean, they glowed when she got them, so
Yeah.
it's a small consolation prize, but it would look really cool.
Yeah. And you pointed this out. I'm now noticing it. Nora, like, props up a pillow so she can, like, sit back.
Yeah.
It's
It's such a tiny minor detail, but yeah.
Oh yeah, shout out to RWBY for including that.
Because we got to do that in every episode at least once. It's a tiny minor detail that you didn't actually have to do, but it looks cool, it feels natural, and it makes the scene feel more real. So, kudos.
Yeah, now we've got Nora venting a lot of frustrations at Ren for all the crap he's been doing as he's trying to apologize and stuff.
She's having a hard time letting it in, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Ren has said and done some things. Nothing irredeemable, but still a lot of, like, what the hell, man type situations.
Yeah.
And to his credit, Ren doesn't interrupt her when she's saying all this. He's letting her get it all out, and he doesn't disagree. He's like, you are right.
I'm also trying to, like, read the captions. So
Yeah, go ahead.
And
I peel behind the curtain. In order to do this, we can't really listen to the episode as we're doing this, so we're trying our best to remember and use the captions to get the actual dialogue.
well, I mean, you can, but if I were to do it, then the audio from the episode would come up in the video.
Right, so it can be a little tricky here and there, but we're doing our best. But yeah, Ren is apologizing, and basically, he's trying to describe what his mindset on everything was, and despite that, he still says that he was wrong. He definitely was. He's not using it as an excuse. He just wants to at least try to explain why it is that he thought and acted the way he did. Whether it's a good enough reason or not, it's still worthwhile to try to, express that.
Yeah.
He's just, you also have to take into consideration that he's not 100% wrong in the aspect of every single time it seemed like something was going right, something horrible happened. So he gets into the mindset he just has to work harder, just
Yeah,
get
work
less
harder,
attached,
get stronger.
won't screw up, because that's what he wanted. But by trying to not screw up, he made the biggest screw up of all. And he's really deeply sorry to John and Nora. And
Yeah.
it's starting to sink in. Nora's starting to agree. Well, not agree, but like, oh, he does feel really super bad about this.
Yeah, and I like how he says as a teammate and as a partner, but as he says as a partner, he looks Nora in the eye.
And John immediately realizes that he is being a massive third wheel for the events that are about to transpire, and awkwardly excuses himself from this situation entirely.
I love, like, the frames on his animation when he does this, though.
Yeah, no, just and I'm out.
Just like,
And
oh yeah, this is an anime.
it's like, oh right, yeah.
Like that kind of moment.
Sometimes I forget about that. The budget got high enough to the point where we don't really see stuff like that too often. And I got to give credit to Jean for one thing. Well, two things, actually. One, for immediately identifying what was about to go down and how he really shouldn't be interrupting it.
Yeah.
But also, for usually in moments like this, the excuse that a character would come up with is something outlandishly stupid. The trope is actually officially called, I have to go iron my dog.
What?
Because surely you've seen like a show or something where someone wants to get out of something or is like, I can't do that, I have to shuck some corn. Some incredibly stupid, lame excuse out of nowhere to get out of something.
I probably have in, like, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, like,
yeah,
just
any of
sitcoms.
those things. Right, exactly. It's exactly that trope. But Jean excuses himself like, I'm gonna go see if Klein needs help with Penny. And that's a good excuse. Like, that not only is he understanding the situation and knows that he has to leave, he came up with a good reason too. You don't see that often. And now it's time for super duper emotional theater.
Yeah, and okay, so remember how we were talking about a specific pairing last week? Well, now we're talking about the other super popular one.
And I also need to very quickly bring up, I understand that Bumblebee fans are perhaps frustrated and, kind of at their wits' end with how long it's taking for their ship to finally land.
And it's like, yeah, I get it, it's a slow burn, but, like, come on!
Straight up, Renora has been going on for a lot longer, and
A little bit longer.
A little bit longer, and it's been more of a focus and more dangled in front of people. So I'm just saying, long story short, you're not alone when it comes to waiting for something to finally get there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ren and Nora got their kiss in the last volume.
They did, but that
then
didn't actually
stuff
officially
went to hell.
Yeah, then stuff went to hell, and that caused further strife, and then it kind of threw everything into question. There were theories about all sorts of things about Ren, and whether he was going to go completely nutso, or if he was going to leave the team, or if one of them were going to die. There was so many of that stuff. There was a lot of that stuff, and not all of it was insane. Some of it actually could have made sense in story if it happened. So, I'm just trying to say, you can wait, all right? Yang and Blake, if it's happening, and it probably is, they'll get there. Just hold your horses.
Whether it be this volume or next.
Yeah.
It's like, I have a little theory saying that it might be next volume, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, if it gives you any comfort whatsoever, I want to say at least 85% sure that if it is a thing that they're going to pull the trigger on, they're going to do it before the finale of the series.
Please.
I like to think that the Rooster Teeth writing staff and RWBY are smart and savvy enough to know that if they did that, it would go horribly wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, like us, they would have watched a bunch of shows where they wait until the last episode to have their characters, like, be paired up and be together, when a lot of complaints I hear about that is just like, why can't you just have them get together early in the series and develop as a couple? Like, and yeah, I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah, so if it's gonna happen, it'll happen in the near future. I feel like I feel like that's just the case. But anyway, to get back to Red and Nora, they're having themselves some deep convos.
Yeah, and this is like such a heartwarming scene where Nora just says, "Oh, all I do is make jokes and hit stuff with a hammer."
Which, to be fair, is how the fandom treats her 97% of the time.
But then
so the
Ren
fact that
is like, "No, here's what you do," and he's talking about all this stuff with Nora, and it's a really heartwarming scene.
Yeah, for what it's worth, like I've seen this kind of thing happen with people who are arguing, and it's actually a really realistic thing. So basically, Nora says, all I do is make dumb jokes and hit stuff with a hammer, and that's all I'm good for. Ren says, no, that's not true, and he scoots up and tries to talk to her. The first thing Nora goes is she like sighs and throws her head back, like, all right, here we go. He's just gonna say whatever probably might. What he thinks will make me feel better. But then he actually straight up does explain the good parts of Nora, the things that she does for the team that she clearly doesn't realize she does. She's a very hard worker. She supports people. And you know what? You really legitimately can't put a price on somebody who's able to add levity to dire situations. It's a really good thing to have.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people resent being what's considered the comedic relief, but it's an important thing to be.
Yeah, like, remember in Last Airbender when Sokka wasn't around? Like, yeah, he was off getting sword trained, they were just sitting around super bored.
Yeah. You need the funny person. And just because you are the funny person doesn't mean that that's all that you are, and that you can't have more to you and emotional depth, which Nora clearly obviously has. But Ren is doing his darndest, and he Freudian slips the fact that he straight up loves her. He tries to backpedal for half a second, but then he's like, oh, you know what, no, now's the time.
Yeah, after saying that's what I love about, and then he realized what he's about to say, and it's just like, screw it.
Yeah, screw it. And then he does. And that gets to Nora.
It also got to me, because I could feel my eyes welling up when he said it.
That is adorable.
So just like, if... You know what, not going into that, but you know where I was going to go. Let's just leave it alone.
Yeah. Right.
It's about Ren and Nora, okay?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, we're sticking to them.
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, like, Ren didn't know if it was a good idea to say that, and I mean, Nora's immediate response of just kind of looking at him and sighing clearly showed a lot of horror. You could, behind those eyes, you could see him very worried. It's like, oh god, no. It's like, I've messed things up too much.
Yeah. But then we get a little backstory with Nora and how her mother just like ran and left her behind when those Grimm invaded. Kuroyuri.
This is what I was. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about with organically sliding backstory into situations. Like, in how many situations is Nora really gonna have to bring that up? And obviously she doesn't go into detail, because if anybody knows this already, it's Ren.
Yeah.
But so she only gives like the basis, like the smallest amount of things, like, when my mom ran off without me and left me to like die to the Grimm and stuff. That's enough. Like, you get, okay, now we have more context for that scene where they first met. Which is good.
Yeah.
And Nora basically says, after that happened, they became Red and Nora.
But she doesn't know who just Nora is.
And you know what? That's something you don't really think about too often when two characters are basically almost inseparable.
Yeah, and I have to admit, this is also something that I've kind of seen How I Met Your Mother do as well. Like, because in the first season, they introduce, okay, here's Ted, this story is about him. There's Barney, he's like the funny guy. Here's Robin, here's Marshall and Lily. And Marshall and Lily are set up as like, oh yeah, they're the super happy, always together couple. But then by the end of the first season, it's like, oh right, but who are they without the other?
Right. And you know what? credit where credit is due, that is an interesting aspect. I actually like that idea. As much as I like Ren and Nora together, it is good for them to be their own individual people.
Yeah, like, honestly, as much as, yeah, I would love to see them just, like, be a freaking couple already at this point.
Yeah, obviously.
This I prefer.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Like,
and for the record, basically, Nora says she reaffirms that she does love him, and she's not saying no to any of this. She just wants time to figure herself out.
Yeah, this isn't, like, deconfirming Renora being a thing. It's just, like, once they've sorted their problems out, which, you know, they're going to do, and Ren has already started on his, Nora just needs to work on hers, then they'll pick things back up.
Right.
Which, you know what, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, and I'm okay, I'm okay with that. And like you know, it's not the end of it. Like that's never gonna happen, because Nora basically says, "I just need to, you know, do the thing, and before I can be the partner you need." It's all of the subtext behind that term as you can possibly give behind it. She wants to figure herself out, and she asks if it's okay that she does this before they can become together. She doesn't say it that way, but yes. And obviously Ren says, of course it's okay.
While wiping a tear from her eye. And
it is adorable.
Oh, but that adorable doesn't end there. Boop.
He boops. He says it. That's a Volume 1 callback, y'all.
And they do the headbutt of love.
They do. And it's cute.
Yeah.
There you go, people. You love to see it.
Yeah.
So we managed to make some real headway with that, and I'm very happy about that. That at the very bare minimum, they do not in fact dislike each other now, or ever did. They were just upset.
Yeah, and yeah, like we're gonna get them like together one day. It's like just we gotta go through some stuff, and I will admit, if after Ren said like that he loves her, as much as I was hoping to hear Nora say it too, I would have been a little annoyed. Because it's been basically...
For what it's worth... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this whole, like, Nora having to figure herself out thing was set up, like, early in the volume.
Yeah.
So if she suddenly went, oh, Ren, I love you, let's be a couple... Like, and they started doing that, I would have thought, well, then what was the point of Blake's advice to Nora?
In the setup.
Yeah.
So I get it, and I like it. And for what it's worth, she does say that. Like she does reaffirm it. That is how she feels. She just needs a little more time, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's called realistic.
Yeah.
So that's Crow doing.
Yeah, I was about to say. Now we have to get to something not as happy and cute with some other characters.
No. Yeah, no, basically, Robin and Crow are now fully appraised of everything that Ironwood is up to. Robin's like, oh my god, he's really gonna do it. And then Crow's all like, not if I murder the hell out of him first. And Robin's all like, whoa, hang on there. And the captions say dramatic synth music, and that made me laugh more than I thought it would. So they start doing their own brand of sneaking about. And yes, I do mean just ordinary sneaking. And it's Crow's very clearly on the whole murder Ironwood warpath right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not alone in thinking, I know of at least a friend of mine who thinks that would be really bad for Crow, and he's not in a good mental space for this sort of thing. And while Ironwood does deserve comeuppance for all the things he's done and the things he's threatening to do, both of us agree that, and I think you do too, that it really shouldn't be Crow to do it, because if it did, it would set him down a dark path.
Yeah.
And we like Crow, and we don't want him to go down a dark path.
Again.
Well, the thing is, this is a different kind of dark path that's a lot harder to get off of.
Oh, yeah, true.
So that's sort of, not to say that the other one isn't, but you know what I mean. The point of the matter is, even justified murder is still murder, and it's still something that's not as easily swept under the rug. Luckily, Robin very much agrees with that sentiment and says you're being selfish.
Yeah,
you gotta do stuff for everybody, not just for yourself.
Yeah, I freaking love Robin in this scene, and just
Robin has seriously endeared herself as a character to me.
yeah.
She's a pretty cool gal, and when Crow starts yelling, she said, "Nah, shut up, you."
You know, I would have.
You don't want to get loud.
I would have thought you'd have had an inherent bias towards Robin because of her voice actor.
I'm not gonna say I don't.
Christina V, who also voices Shantae.
She voices a lot of characters. That is one of them. But yes, I am a very large fan of her work. And when I heard that she was voicing someone in RWBY, I was hoping it was somebody who was really great. But I mean, if the character turned out to be, I don't want to say a bad character. I meant like a character who is not someone you're. Yeah, like if she was a jerk or not on the side of good or any such combination of those qualities, just because that they were voiced by Christina V isn't going to be like, oh well, I still think they're the greatest. I would like the character for what they are, but I am much happier living with the idea that, oh no, Robin is legitimately a good person trying to do good things. She's on the side of good. I can root for her without any hesitation. So that is what I like. And she is helping Crow out.
Yeah. And they do bring up Clover as well.
They do. Yeah, and straight up, it's rather interesting. Robin says that Clover was a lot of things, but she says that she thinks, ultimately, the Crow was the better huntsman.
Not because he walked away, but because he fights for what's right, rather than just following orders. Right,
and that is basically what Clover did, and by all accounts, that is what ended up getting him killed.
Yeah.
There was a variety of reasons, yes, but if Clover didn't decide to have to take in Crow, then it wouldn't be a thing. And yes, that was a mighty gasp. What's happening?
Well, no, it's not something happening. I'm just going to say we're also not going to talk about some stuff that's come up with a particular character, that being Clover. I might talk about it off camera.
Something came up with Clover?
Yeah, let's just say it's something I don't think we really need to add fuel to that fire.
Okay, I'll end this line of conversation with saying that I legitimately do not know what that is meant to mean. So, okay. But, moving on, I guess.
Yeah, moving on. Elevator door opens, and it's like, whoa, who dat?
I mean, the odds of it being Winter and Marrow seemed so obvious to me that I thought it was weird that we didn't see a follow-up to the scene during the episode.
You know, I was about to say, I'll tell you who that is. Gonna find out in the next episode. Moving on.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to take your joke, but...
Because, yeah, we never go back to that.
Yeah, the door opens, and they have shocked faces, and we're just assuming that it's Winter and Marrow. It could not be. But, I mean, that's my first and most obvious guess.
Well, yeah.
Alright, so, now that we've gotten through a scene of anger, let's go through a scene of sadness.
Yeah, oh boy.
Ruby's hugging that stairway banister.
As Yang just talks about the hound and how, like, oh yeah, kicked us around like we're nothing, but Blake and everyone told me that you managed to take it down. Always go one up your big sis, huh?
Ruby ain't in the mood.
I also, like, yeah, I kicked everyone around like it's nothing except Blake. She got up and kept fighting. I feel a need to say it, okay?
Quit bragging. I don't appreciate it.
Also, I'm trying to delay what we have to talk about because it's very, oof.
Yeah, alright, well, I'm good at ripping band-aids off.
Yeah, just rip it off.
All right, so yeah, Yang's trying to make this a little bit more levity. Ruby asks Yang if Blake told Yang what was inside the hound, what it actually was. Yang is like, "Yeah, I am aware, but hey," and then Ruby's like, do you know what that means then?" And Yang tries to she sighs and it's like, "Well, I wouldn't really worry about that. We don't know." And Ruby just kind of cuts straight through. It's like, "That's what happened to Mom."
Yeah, and then you see Yang's eyes dilate, and when she just starts to break down crying, like,
Yeah.
oh,
You could tell you could tell she had the same thought, but was really, really trying to not think about it.
Yeah, and also just like trying to say, look, we can't think like that. We don't. But nah, Ruby's just like, no, that's what's happened.
And the fact is, Ruby brings up a good point, because she saw that, and she basically says to Yang that we know that Salem used to just kill people with silver eyes.
Like Maria.
So, right, so why is she just trying to capture me? And yeah, I wasn't expecting Ruby to be able to make this conclusion. I thought it was going to be some big, an attempted, wham moment for the cast and everything. But it does make sense with all the information that Ruby has available to her to be able to put the pieces together to realize that this is more than most likely what happened. It's not... The fact that they're introducing it now and bringing it up, it gives the implication that maybe it isn't and she's mistaken. But even in a best case scenario, and she is, it's hard to argue that she's wrong for assuming it.
Yeah, some speculation I have seen, like, this could either mean there is another Grimm like the Hound and that one is Summer, or what if the reason Salem she discovered she could do this is because Summer might be a turncoat as well and is working with Salem? And I haven't seen people bring this back up, but in Volume 4, when that Watcher Grimm comes in and talks to Salem as she's trying to train Cinder to master her new Grimm arm, she says, "Keep looking, the relic is there." Cinder, Emerald and Mercury are all right there. Tyrion's in Mistral hunting Ruby. Hazel's in Mistral going to meet with Sienna Khan. Watts is in Mistral meeting with Lionheart. Who's Salem talking to?
Huh.
I don't see a lot of people bringing that point up.
I mean, it's not impossible it was a mild mistake.
Or it could just be she's talking to, like, a more intelligent Grimm or something.
Yeah, no, that is feasible, but I do have to give you this. What would be more emotionally devastating and horrible for Ruby and Yang than not only just their mother dying, and even more so than the possibility of their mother being twisted into some horrifying Grimm abomination? I feel like the worst possible outcome would be if Summer was fine, she's just not a good guy.
Yeah, and let's say Summer realized all the stuff about Salem and just got to the point where she's just like, what's the point in fighting against her? I might as well help her out, just so that way all this suffering ends.
Right. Yeah. I'm not gonna say that I believe that is the case, but that is the first time I've ever considered it to be a possibility. And I can't say that there's a 0% chance of that, but I'm still gonna say it's really low.
Yeah, if anything, it's just really the mystery of who was Salem talking to.
Right.
From
and
that
could
seeker.
be Yeah, that could be a Seeker, just a smarter Grim. It could be a million things.
Like-
That's just one out of like 1,000 possibilities.
Like, I think I remember one thought I had was like, oh, maybe that's Neo or something, but no. With what we know now, that makes 0 sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna, as messed up as it sounds, I prefer the idea of Summer either being dead or some horrifying abomination.
I'll admit I do as well.
Because her being, like, it sounds horrible to say that, but I would like to believe that she was that good of a paragon of a person, and that basically RWBY and Yang's role model among all role models was that good of a person, and they don't have to live with the idea that that was basically a lie.
Yeah.
I don't want that. So I'm going to lock that thought into a box, and I'm going to never think about it again unless the show forces me to.
There is actually one thought I had while I was at work, and I was just like, oh my god, if they actually did this scene. So let's say Summer is like the Hound. What if, to try and get the Staff of Creation, Salem, does a mass broadcast just like she did, well, just like Ironwood did, and calls, a Hound over, and it's just like, oh, let's see who's behind this one, and reveals Summer, and actually tries to give her some conscience back, and just says to RWBY, now, I could end this for her if you give me the staff, or I can take it away just as easily. I'm just like, oh man, if she actually did pose that question to RWBY and Yang,
that would be messed up. There are a lot of ways that this can go.
Yeah.
I don't know which way that the writers have decided is the best way. We're gonna find out eventually, but man, that's the double-edged nature of theorizing, because your brain can go to some pretty crazy places, and it can make sense in your head.
Yeah, I can think of some, sweet ideas for scenes, I don't know, let's say RWBY and Blake talking, and RWBY throws out the idea of one day being like, hey, one day I might call you my sister-in-law, and Blake, going all beet red and being embarrassed. Okay, that's cute, but it would also be hilarious to see Blake react that way. And then there's stuff like that where I'm just like, oh my god,
man, that's something within the realms of possibility that would sure be horrifying, and I hope it's not the case. But now that my brain is stuck on that, I can't help but think that it might.
Yeah.
Anywho, so Yang is able to kind of put herself back together enough because that's just kind of the gal Yang is, really.
Yeah.
And she tries to make it clear to RWBY that while blind optimism isn't always a good thing, it is still important.
Yeah.
Because optimism gives hope, and it lets people think that it's possible that there is a good outcome to everything. So while, RWBY was being optimistic and it didn't work out, that doesn't mean that she was a failure or an idiot for having done so.
Yeah, and even brings up the point, you got the word out.
Yeah. And she says that, they're not called sure things, they're called risks. And then, I, for what it's worth, Yang then says, I don't know if you noticed, but my plan for Mantle didn't work either.
But we managed to do all this.
Yeah, but we the plan didn't go the way we wanted to, but we still accomplished things. So that's good. And you know what? Your plan didn't work out great either, but you accomplished things. You got the word out, and that's good. You gotta take risks. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but you gotta keep going.
Yeah.
And she said that, and then she says that their mom took a risk the day they left. And Yang hypothesizes that it probably didn't go the way she wanted it to either.
But that Summer is still her hero.
Yeah, and that's really cute. And then they hug.
Yeah. And before we go to, the next scene, there's a theory I had that might might help RWBY out if this ends up happening.
Explain.
So let's say like they're in this big battle, and then Blake has a ping on her scroll, and she looks at it. It's Ilya, and it's like, well, how the hell am I getting a call from Ilya? Answers it, and it turns out, oh wait, Ilya, Gira, and the whole like Faunus like movement just comes in with a fleet of Mistral ships, and
Depends entirely on how fast it is to get there.
well, yeah, I know, but just let me think about this.
Okay, sure.
And it's just like S.H.I.E.L.D. showing up at the end of Age of Ultron.
Uh-huh. That would be badass, and it would be awesome.
Yeah,
I do not discount that.
And we did see Gira calling Ilya like when like the message was going out. So
we know that they're going to be a factor in something at some point.
Yeah, Gira is planning something. We just don't know like what exactly.
Yeah, we have no idea, but you never know. You never know. But here's hoping. Maybe it's Team Coffee and Sun on that dinghy.
Yeah, we saw fan art of that, and it was funny.
It's just a fan art of a really, really crappy boat with all of Team Coffee and Sun just kind of shoved into it, like paddling their way to Atlas. And man, that'd be funny.
Could you imagine if like this Gira plan happens? Like they evacuate everyone, and it's like, all right, let's get everybody to Vacuo. And that's where they're going. The credits roll, and then we get a post-credit scene of like Coffee and Sun arriving, and it's just like, all right, time to help Atlas. Everything's on fire. Back to Vacuo. Back to Vacuo.
And they just start paddling. It's like we went all this way, and now we have to go back. We find the levity where we can, because otherwise we'd just be sad all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Talking of sad.
for the record, we have a new type of sad. But for the record, it sure is nice to see Yang and RWBY have a real moment together like this.
Yeah. I always like it.
Yeah, I do too. But then they hear.
Before we move on, I really need to say this.
Go ahead.
Massive shout out to Lindsay and Barbara.
Oh yeah, no, they did great.
My God.
They did an absolutely fantastic job.
Yeah.
They've been getting better and better at this as time has gone on.
You know,
What's funny about that?
Sorry, anytime I hear that, it just reminds me of a thing. Do you remember when the Yellow trailer came out, and that was the first time we heard RWBY speak?
Yes.
And then Volume 1 started, and we heard her talk then. So many people were like, oh, I guess Lindsay must have gotten better at voicing this character. When in actuality, Lindsay recorded all of, Volume 1, then the Yellow trailer.
That is really weird, and also bizarre people would say that because literally RWBY only had one very small line at the end of the Yellow trailer. How would they be able to get anything out of that?
Yeah, and it's just funny, like...
She just says, Yang, is that you? That's it. You can't really gauge anybody's ability to do anything from just that.
Also, I can't help but... I think Lindsay's even laughed about it, just like...
Yeah, no, that's funny.
Just like, here's the very first line that was ever recorded in Volume 1. It's just like, huh, must have gotten better.
Sure. All right. But that is a thing though. I'm sure you've noticed. I feel like it's with RWBY more than any other out of the four of them. There's been a very distinct vocal evolution for RWBY. Because if you listen to Volume 1 RWBY and Volume 8 RWBY, they do sound different. It's obviously the same person.
Can I confirm?
But there's but there's a different feel to it.
Yeah, just the voice had to get more refined.
Right. Which is fair, because I'm pretty sure that out of the four of them, I'm pretty sure RWBY's voice actress is, like, the only one who puts on a voice for the character.
Yeah. Like, the only one
everyone else kind of just talks in their own voice. Almost.
Well, I mean, Kara kind of puts on
a
voice for... And, yeah, you could say Aaron puts on more of a voice for Blake as well.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, well, straight up, Barbara and Yang are 1-to-1.
Yeah, like, I remember when they were, like, they had a question, like, oh, what do you do to get in character? Everyone is saying, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this, and Barbara just says, I don't do anything.
Yeah, just start talking.
I sugarcoat what she actually said, but...
Yeah. Nobody would know anything about this, so I'll just say, if anybody knows the website Cameo, where you can, like, if you pay, you can, like, get, like, messages from certain celebrities or, you know, people that are known. Kara is one of those people, and I got one from her a good while ago, and I absolutely love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you sent it to me, and I was like, oh, that's really nice.
Yes, it was absolutely wonderful, and I use it whenever I really need cheering up. I've only ever actually watched it twice ever, because I only use it as, like, an emergency option, because it's that good at making me feel better.
Aww.
As weird as that is. Yeah, I know. Anyway, the point is, in it, she's clearly talking as, you know, as herself normally for, like, the majority of it, and at the very end, she closes her eyes and, like, thinks for about half a moment, and then she starts talking as Weiss to deliver a message as Weiss. And on top of that just being mind-blowingly wonderful for me, there is a distinct difference. I feel like maybe it's really subtle and you'd actually have to really listen for it, but at least for someone like me, I can tell a difference between her and Weiss. There is a difference. It's slight, but it's there.
Yeah.
And I never really gotten a chance to talk about that. That's why I wanted to quickly throw that out there.
In fact, like, same goes with Aaron and Blake. And, you know, you talking about how Kara can just go from, like, talking as herself to Weiss in an instant. And it's just like, yeah, her and Aaron had to go through, like, so much stuff to really get in character before they started recording.
I feel like they've definitely they must have been able to got better at doing that, and they can do it much faster now.
Yeah, now it's just, like, second nature for them.
Yeah, they're able to just kind of snap in their head, and they're like, all right, now I'm this character, and they have their way of speaking.
Actually, you know what? Like, purely because I'm thinking about this now, there's one behind-the-scenes story I remember. I can't remember which volume they were recording. It was 1 or 2. No, it was volume 1, because it was that I'm a victim line. And one of Kara's favorite drinks is Coca-Cola. And
Okay.
And Miles was telling her, just like, okay, we gotta record some scenes. Do not drink any. I swear to God. And she's like, no, I want some. Cracks open a can, like, drinks it, and then as they're recording, she's just going like, I'm a victim, bub.
Oh no, that's adorable.
But, like, she burps perfectly in character as Weiss.
I don't know why I think that's so cute. I need to stop thinking that.
God, the annoying thing is, I don't think they've ever released that blooper.
That is unfortunate, because I want to hear it now.
Me too, but at the same time, it's just like, no, Weiss wouldn't burp, so... But, man, you kind of want to hear it.
Oh, I feel weird for wanting that so much. Okay.
Well, it's funny.
There's a line that I try to make a very firm line in the sand, and it gets blurrier every damn day with this girl. Okay. Let's get back to the thing now that we've made ourselves feel better.
Yeah. And now back to the depressing stuff.
Yeah, they hear glass breaking. Jean runs down. Go outside, he says. So then they started running. And Penny has jumped out the window, and I can only assume landed face first on the ground given the position we see her get up from, which is a funny mental image.
Yeah.
Because I like to think she straight up missile launched herself out the window and slammed onto the ground face first. Ow,
well,
but funny.
As we're about to see, she's like going in and out of the virus.
Yeah, no, she's visibly struggling. Ruby uses her speed, tries to stop her. Penny is like, I don't want to do this, but I physically am unable to. Emerald sees that, which might be important later. Ruby holds on to the back of Penny, puts her in the full Nelson, calls Weiss to do the special beam cannon. That's not what happens. But
well, even if
now
it
you're
did,
thinking about it.
Even if it did, unlike Raditz, Penny remembers, oh wait, I can fly.
And then she starts to fly. Yes, that's true. That is true. That's clever.
Can
So-
I just say, shout out to Team 4-Star for kind of ruining that moment for me, because now I just look back and I think, yeah, why didn't Raditz just fly?
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. All this time I just thought, a full Nelson's easy to break out if all you have to do is headbutt somebody with the back of your head and they'll let go because you smash their face in with the back of your head. But yeah, if a character can straight up fly, yeah, there you go. That's an easily solved problem.
Yeah. Although,
So
I know the
go
reason
ahead.
why Akira Toriyama killed him off. It's just... Yeah.
it was a waste of potential. There was a lot they could have done. But we're here to talk about this.
And if you want to hear that potential, go check out Masako X.
Yeah, he has a very prolific series where he talks about Raditz becoming a good guy, and honestly, I think I prefer it over the canon. Anyway.
And it is the creation of Best Girl Ranch.
Indeed. I mean, if that is the way you wish to think. Anyway, so for a brief moment, I actually thought that, Penny was going to straight up, really actually get away, but with Ruby holding on to her, and I was like, where is this story going to go?
And then Blake saw, hell no!
No, and she throws her ribbon sword over the wrist, and then Ren does the exact same, and then you got this triple thing of you got Blake, Yang, and Jean pulling down one arm, and you got Ren, Nora, and Oscar pulling down the other one, and I was just making sure to get all the names right. And then you get Weiss doing the gravity glyphs to try to also bring her down, and combined, it works. It totally works.
And then Penny's all, oh wait, maiden powers, yo.
Yeah, she uses her maiden powers, and that knocks Weiss off balance enough to make the glyph kind of wear out, and she's able to sort of fly away, but they're holding as good as they can. But admittedly, before the maiden powers start, I have to point out that it's kind of hilarious that once they're actually able to, they got her and they bring her back down to the ground, the glyph's up, they're good. Nora's first word is, now what do we do? And you know what? Good point.
Can I just say, I never noticed this, but, everyone else is, on their feet pulling her down. Emerald's on her butt.
We haven't gotten to that point yet. Because...
No, I mean, as she's pulling her down, she's just, sat on the ground the whole time.
Yes, she is, but we hadn't gotten to the point where Emerald actually anchored herself to Penny.
Oh, I thought you were at the... sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, so Emerald has also decided to start helping. And I'd like to point out that I forgot that's what her weapon could do, what it looked like, or what it was.
Yeah, because I actually counted just by memory all the times we see her fight.
It's not often.
No, not that much.
She's definitely more of a support. She obviously can fight, clearly. But she's definitely more of a support character when it comes to fights, at least in the scenes we've seen her. She usually focuses more so on using her illusions to back up the people who are frontline fighting.
Yeah.
So I had completely and totally forgotten what her weapon was, so I didn't even know what the hell that was when it happened. Luckily, it went over it went over really quickly, but still, it was like, wait, who the hell did that? Oh, right, Emerald. So she's able to hold him down long enough for Jean to run over, boost Weiss, so the gravity glyph slams them back down. Ruby's trying to appeal to her penniness, and Penny is all like, I have an idea. Murder me. And Ruby's all like, what? And she says, if you kill me, I'll make sure the power goes to you. And Ruby's all like, that does sound dope, but you're my friend, so no. She doesn't say that, but that's what I've decided. That's what I've decided.
Yeah, and can I just say...
Because it's very dark, and I want to find a joke here. So, yeah, go ahead.
Ever since the virus was a thing, I was actually terrified that's the route they were going to go with Penny. And when she was, begging Ruby to kill her, I was just like, oh, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I also remembered, none of the other girls are going to want to do it.
Yeah.
But Emerald is there. She don't really give a crap about any of that.
Yeah, so you had this thought. Wait, what if she did it?
Yeah, what if, no one was up for killing Penny, and then things escalate, and then Emerald just comes in and just stab, done, and then, I don't know, she becomes the Winter Maiden or something.
Or something. Okay, spoiler alert, that does not happen.
Thankfully.
And thankfully, and I'm okay with that. I much prefer the way things did go. But man, can we just briefly talk about how animated everybody is? Again, because I want to point out just everybody's the reaction on every character's face, including Emerald's. I'll have you know.
Yeah.
And Ruby, like when Penny says to kill her, everyone is like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like they're all horrified.
Like no? How about no? So Ruby obviously has the most horrified expression of all because she's grappling with the idea of, is that the only choice? But it's actually not. Penny basically talks about how she can't fight it. Nora says, and I gotta give credit because I did not think about this myself.
Nor did I.
I really legitimately didn't. This is actually a pretty fantastic thing that they did here. Nora says, yes, you can fight it. If you were nothing but a machine, you wouldn't be able to fight off this virus.
Exactly.
You would have just... It's like, holy crap. That's true. If she was nothing more than a machine, a virus would just go snap, it's on. There would be no flashes back to her actual self. That wouldn't be a thing. And that came from Nora immediately putting a lot of quelling the fears. I feel like for her, it should, that she's, nothing more than jokes and hit stuff girl. Because that saved their asses right out the gate. Because that immediately made Ruby realize, holy crap, she's right. Jean, boost this girl's aura.
And then he does, and it works.
It works. It's not 100% permanent, but having, because aura is the soul. By making her soul stronger, it's able to more easily fight off the virus.
Okay, so I'm gonna just admit this. When I first saw this scene, I thought, okay, maybe that was solved a little too quick, but skipping
ahead... They do establish that, yeah. They established that, okay, you might think, oh, the virus is just done now. It's not. It is not. This wasn't a permanent solution. And Jean even says, I can't just amp her forever. So, but we'll get to that when we get to that, because first and foremost, we get hugs. We get so many hugs.
And Penny and Nora hug in particular.
Hugs. I know, because them redheads got to stick together, yo.
Yeah.
It's like Nora goes over to Penny and is like, girl, there's so few left of us.
Oh,
redheads be dying by the bucketful. We gotta stick together. And that's why they've become best friends.
Pura, Torchwick, Blake, what did you say you and Yang did to that Adam guy? Yeah, he's dead too.
And just to continue to make that the funnies happen, there was another fan comic you showed me.
Oh yeah.
Of Nora gaining the list of all the characters that are to be killed.
And it's just like...
And it's
Pura,
like Neon
Penny,
Cat,
Torchwick, Neon, Nora, Adam, any other redhead we didn't think about, Scarlet.
No. It didn't say Scarlet. It said the British one. And it's like, and then Scarlet's there. He's like, the British one. That's who I am.
And Nora's like, I have a plan.
And she just dyes all of their hair various different colors, and it's cute. It's a cute thing.
Did I ever send you the sequel to that?
No, you did not.
Okay, so Neon's hair gets dyed like rainbow.
Yeah, because she's Nyan Cat. That's her whole thing.
Yeah, that is freaking adorable. I love it.
It is.
She shows it to Flint, and he's like, I don't notice any difference.
Rude.
Scarlet's hair is blue. He shows it to Neptune, who's like kind of offended because blue hair is his look.
That's his whole thing.
I think it's Yatsu who Fox shows his hair to.
Which, by the way, Nora has dyed to look exactly like Ren's.
Yeah, purposely. And
yeah.
Yatsu points it out to him, and Fox is just like, God damn it, Nora.
Yeah, no. His line in the comic was like, I'm trusting you with this, Nora.
Yeah, because for those who don't know, Fox is blind.
Yeah, so he has no idea.
Yeah. And Nora's hair is green, just like Oobleck's.
Yeah.
It's just them seeing each other, and they just both have a shocked expression.
All right. So now that we're doing better. But yeah. So they ask Penny, so like, is the virus just dealt with? And it's like, no, it's still there. And Ruby's all like, but girl, you got a soul. You're a people.
Yeah.
And Nora also holds their hand. It's just cute. It's cute. Friends.
So again, like, God, I like the Weiss wipes a tear out of her eye.
Also, the captions legitimately say warm and touching music.
Yeah. By the way, like, we get
But
this...
yes, Weiss does do that because she is beautiful and wonderful and a great person. Thank you. Move on.
Like, we see this shot of all of them, like, circled together, just, like, on their knees and stuff. Like, Weiss's dress is just like...
Isn't it nice and pretty? I like it. She takes up so much real estate with that thing. It's amazing.
And then we get, like, one of my favorite Emerald moments. She's just off by herself, just like...
It's the
hey.
first... Okay, but hang on, before you do. I want to point out that not only is this one of her finest moments, I'd say it's the first moment of Emerald's ever that I truly like, and it earned her a lot of points in my favor towards accepting her.
Especially with one in particular line, which we'll get to. Just saying
yeah, you
that,
go all, this is all yours.
Calling back to Ruby saying that they're in the same place, just like, no, you're not. I mean, yeah, you've gotten your asses kicked. Some of that was my fault.
And for what it's worth, just very briefly before you continue, yeah, she's and she's stuttering. She's clearly not good at talking.
Yeah, she even says, and I've used that like a lot. So
yeah, stuff like that. She's stuttering and not being very good at linguistic skills. But when she's talking, it says, I mean, yeah, you guys have gotten your asses kicked a lot.
But then she's just
some
like,
of that.
But look, I'm gonna be
super
pissed if you give up the moment I switch sides.
And that's wonderful. But I just want to point out, it's an animation detail. As she's saying, you guys have gotten your asses kicked a lot. Some of that my fault. You can see Yang visibly clench her fists.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that before. But yeah, Emerald says that she'll be pissed off if they're gonna give up now that she's finally decided to turn around, and thereby also confirming, yeah, Emerald is now switching sides. She's going to be on the side of the good guys. And Oscar goes, oh, switching sides, huh? Which causes a...
Aw, from Yang.
And she's like... and everyone starts laughing, and Emerald's all like, whatever! Like, she's embarrassed by this.
Also,
it's amazing.
I freaking love that, like, little jab that Blake gives Yang.
And I love the absolute sassy face that Weiss is giving. Like, man, that girl has excellent eyebrow control. But everybody starts giggling. Emerald is obviously kind of annoyed by this, but,
because
not in an angry way. Well, yeah. I mean, she's not good at this, but she's trying, and I can tell she's trying, and I can appreciate and respect that.
Yeah.
And so Oscar helps Emerald back up. And I was like, all right, this is good, because damn, you're going to be useful. And he says, all right, so hey, guys, Osmond wants to talk. Can I let him do that, and will you not beat me up if I do?
Because, yeah, he's been through a lot, and I've only just now noticed all his, like, marks and, well, on his face and clothes are gone.
The face stuff I can at least buy because, I don't know, maybe Jean got some rest and was able to aura boost him, and he got rest, so he was able to do that. The outfit fixing is a little strange because, I mean, Weiss had battle-damaged outfit for a while after the fact, but...
Wait, hang on. The green ooze, I just realized it's not on them anymore.
They used the laundry. That's right, they took time out of this entire thing to wash their clothes. I mean, okay, bare minimum, maybe Weiss had an... No, Weiss wouldn't have had a spare in that house because she got that stuff from the Atlas place. That makes no sense. You know what?
Or maybe aura also applies to clothes. Like, it just also cleans your outfit.
You know, it actually might.
Hence why they all don't stink. Because they wouldn't have showered.
Aura is kind of overpowered. Ooh, are there no showers in Remnant? Did we just bust the lore door open? I don't know.
I think this is a question that's been brought up before.
Regardless. Anyway, point is, Ozpin shows up, and he says, you know, I know a fairy tale. I know it because I lived it. He didn't say that part, but, you know,
actually,
a girl... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he mentions a fairy tale about a girl, and I'm just like... I've been questioning this. Like,
Yeah.
Ozpin's whole reincarnation is that he reincarnates with someone of a like-minded soul.
Yeah.
Has he ever merged with a woman?
You know what? I'd say statistically it would have had to have happened at some point. But that is a little odd.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, like, has he ever been, like, a woman, or is it just exclusively dudes that he merges with?
I mean, everyone we did see was a dude, so that would imply to me that that's possible. But at the exact same time, I mean, everyone assumed that of the Doctor of Doctor Who, then he became a woman for a while.
True.
So it might be one of those things that's possible and just hasn't happened. I don't know. But he talks about a story, you know, of running away from the consequences of an action, and how, you know, never learning from a failure is a massive screw up. And you might think, oh, well, is he talking about them? Well, no, he's talking about himself. Ozpin admits that he has made an absolutely horrendous mistake, and he does his best to apologize to them for not having trusted them and all of that. And he shouldn't have run away once everything fell apart the way it did, which, yeah, not a great move.
And I've just realized, Yang starts off with a sentence, Blake adds to it, and then Weiss finishes it.
Yes. Because Weiss is great.
It just shows how in sync they are.
They are. But basically, trust is a risk. And then Ozpin's all like, oh, well, okay. I am the authority in all things Schnee. So
I was waiting
Weiss
for that.
Is like, yeah, no, Weiss, because she's the one who says that trust is a risk, and she looks over to Klein, Whitley, and Willow, and because she's decided to take the risk of trusting the remainders of her family and trying to, you know, patch up what's left of that, and that's phenomenal. I'm so okay with the idea of Weiss not being disowned by her family and being homeless by a technical authority. So that's good, and they look at her and they're happy, and that's good. There's hope there, and I say that as the captions then say, hopeful music plays. So thank you for that. And everyone looks over to Ruby and is like, so yeah, and Ozpin's like, so. I mean, you know, we know it's a risk. Are you willing to take the risk of trusting me again? And wouldn't you know it, they say, all right, okay, sure.
But then Penny says that she can still feel the virus, and, you know, Jean can't
We kind of need to...
amping her.
Yeah.
Ren adds on that they can't keep Ironwood waiting because they're kind of on a time limit.
Yeah, they don't really have a lot of options here, so like, man, what do we do? It's like, she has to go to the vault.
So Ruby's all, hey, we haven't considered that.
And there you go. Like, that's actually a risk we haven't considered. And she has herself a little brain blast. And we see her with the caption saying pensive music. Thank you. We see that she is called Ironwood and saying that she'll do it.
But then
then we see, we see Watts, who is still injured. I guess he didn't train up an aura either. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's tapping into their conversations, and Neo shows up, and that's basically where the episode ends.
Yeah, so who the hell knows what's going to happen next? I sure don't.
I mean, a popular theory now is, well, because Watts knows what they're up to, and knows where they're going to be, that's the thing that Cinder owes Neo. And because of some framing in this episode, the whole Ruby losing an eye theory has kind of come back. And, look, if anyone's going to do it, it's probably going to be Neo. Or Cinder.
Well, if it does end up being Neo, then good freaking luck to anybody who ever thought maybe she'd turn to the side of good at any point.
Oh yeah, if she like gouges out Ruby's eye, like
Yeah, no, it's done.
Yeah.
You don't get another chance at that. I mean, they were already having a tough time with Emerald. At least with Emerald, she was more so implicit with horrible things that happened rather than a direct cause. But yeah, no, if Neo rips out an eyeball, yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah. And here I was hoping that she would just turn good to spite Cinder.
I mean, that would be pretty great, and there is still time for it.
Yeah.
Should be noted. Neo has yet to actually do anything unforgivable.
I would love it so much if she does that, and then when everyone's together, they just ask Neo, "Why did you help us?" She just starts typing on her scroll, and Ruby pulls up a message. "I did it to spite Cinder."
That would be funny. So I would be remiss to not at least sort of bring this up. Has there ever been any official say outside of the show that Neo is legitimately, without question, 100% actually a mute?
I think there has, yeah.
Okay.
And there's even some supporting stuff, she never spoke in Chibi and even just held up a sign to the camera, "This is just how I talk."
Right, but Chibi makes jokes about everything and isn't really a real super source for that sort of thing.
I mean, the only real thing that could just be Neo, quote-unquote, talking is cross-tag battle. But
yeah, where she has some effort grunts.
Yeah, but that's literally it, because it'd be weird to have a fighting game where a character doesn't make those.
Like any noise at all, yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact, she's voiced in that by Casey Williams.
Which is kind of amazing.
Yeah. And upon that being announced, she actually dyed half her hair pink and the other half brown.
That is amazing. That's dedication. So by all accounts, she is officially her voice actress.
Yeah. Just in a video game, not in the show.
It still counts.
Yeah, I always thought they could bring that into the show if they wanted to.
If they absolutely needed Neo to make... here's the thing. Even a mute person who can't speak physically can make a noise.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, if Neo got decked in the stomach hard enough, she'd make some kind of noise as it happened. That could be her.
Also, I've just thought about something. And I haven't seen anyone bring this up.
What's that?
What's going on with Pietro and Maria?
Well, I assume they're still stuck up in that satellite.
Yeah, but it was descending.
Oh, yeah.
So, I
guess they're dead.
How are they doing? Has Amity, hit the ground yet? Or did they have a ship somewhere so they could leave?
Little did you know, that was the last time we ever saw them on the show. They just hoped no one would notice.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm gonna have some questions.
Yeah, indeed. I'm sure they'll come back eventually.
Yeah, well, I mean, they kind of have to.
I find it interesting that nobody has attempted to contact them, though.
Oh, yeah.
They should be able to, yeah?
Well, then again, I don't think Ruby and that lot are aware of what happened with Amity.
True. Penny hasn't been in her right mind long enough to actually explain. She's only just now been able to do that.
And I don't think Emerald would really want to say, "Oh yeah, I attacked Amity with Cinder and Neo, and this is what happened."
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, let's not.
Yeah, let's
not.
Yeah.
Look, we're gonna have to cross that bridge eventually, because at some point Maria and Pietro are gonna come back, and they're like, "Hey, that's that green girl who messed everything up real bad." We're gonna get to that eventually, but we can put that off for a little bit longer, I think.
Yeah, let's maybe give Emerald more chances to prove, yeah, I'm a good guy now, before we reveal, oh yeah, she helped in that.
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, she had no idea about the virus. That was never a thing.
Yeah, that was all Watts and Ironwood.
Yeah, so.
Oh! What if they've pieced together, oh, they just need to find that sword, And while I have my little theory of Ruby and Emerald, like, doing that whole sneak into the vault as Penny, just to trick Ironwood, everyone else is looking for Penny's sword. They break it. Boom. Virus is gone.
Ba-da-boom. That would be pretty swell. I mean, if they could get Pietro back, he would definitely probably help with that.
Or what if, like, Yang just, like, punches it until the chip inside it breaks?
Like, I don't know how to do this. Punch it!
Is it working? No. I'll punch it more!
I'm punching it. I was like, how about now? Little bit? Alright then.
And then it's in, like, dozens of pieces, and Penny's like, I can't feel it anymore. And he's just like, punching it worked!
Huzzah!
But punching it that much caused a lot of noise, and they've been found out.
Yeah.
And Blake's just like, see, I told you stealth isn't your strong suit.
Oh man, now I can't help but feel like, of all things, bringing a SpongeBob line. Like, Yang starts punching it. And Blake is like, Yang, we're not cavemen. We have technology. She starts shooting it.
Oh, where's the fan comic on that?
Yeah, come on now. Come on now, people. Get it together. Make it work.
You know what, we should try and find, like, someone who makes fan comics, and it's just like, hey, just listen to our discussions. We come up with stupid ideas all the time.
Like, seriously, if you could just make one out of every 10 ideas we have, you'd be doing the world a service. That's all I'm gonna say. Alright then. With that all done being said and what have ye, I dare say we've gone over just about everything that we can.
Yeah, well, everything that's, like, either related to RWBY specifically, or things we want to talk about, let's just say that.
Yeah, how about that? We might be on a bit of an upswing. I mean, it seems like, at the very least, you know, the RWBY team has, like, a plan, and it could go well.
Yeah, they're starting to turn things around.
We're at the most optimistic of moments that we've been in for a long time, so we have cause to think that things are going to be okay-ish.
But then I remember back in Volume 6, they had that whole thing going, and was just like, yeah, we've got this plan, and that's what ends the episode. But then we find out, okay, here's what the plan is, and then something goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, but they did that already. Would they really do that again? Let the girls have a victory. They've been pushed and kicked enough. Just let them be cool. Let Weiss karate chop somebody. I don't care.
Also, like, I've talked about this before, but can we finally have the whole, like, screaming thing that Erin had to record?
Yeah, she started screaming about something at some point. God only knows why. Because
the more episodes we go through and I don't hear that, like, screaming and emotional stuff, it's just like, when?
What the hell happens that makes that happen?
Yeah.
You were banking on you were banking on the whole she thought Yang died in a whale thing. But nope.
Now I don't know.
Now you don't know. And you gotta live with that knowledge until it happens.
Well,
much like the bomb under the table at the diner. You don't know when it's gonna go off.
Oh.
I circular it. I put it all together. Put a bow on that. This is a done discussion. We did good. Hope you guys had a fantabulous, wonderful time. We'll be back next week for more of this. Here's hoping something good happens.
In the last 3 episodes.
Yeah. So. See you then.
Bye.